A sudden August downpour shattered the quiet of the small house, where Lily was engrossed in the world of cartoons.
Barbecue.
The first rumble of thunder didn't startle her. Oh! But a flash of lightning outside the window sparked an image in her mind. The line of sun-scented clothes her dad had washed that morning. "Oh no!" she cried out softly. Without a second's hesitation, she rushed to find her umbrella, one as bright yellow as the sunshine she adored. Her small feet scurried out into the garden as the rain began to fall harder, splashing coolly against her face. Just as she arrived and reached out to pull down the first shirts, Lily was stopped by a faint, lost cry nearby. Amidst the white sheet of rain, a tiny, trembling yellow dot looked hopeless. A lost duckling! Her heart tightened. Forgetting all about the soaking laundry, Lily's eyes could only see the tiny, fragile creature. She hurried over, tilting her umbrella to shield the duckling. Under the yellow canopy, she sat down, using her own small body to give her new friend more shelter, hoping her warmth could chase away the rain's chill. The two of them, one big and one small, warmed each other in the bleak, rainy scene. When the rain subsided, Lily gently carried the duckling into the house. She placed it in a basket lined with a soft cloth and carefully dried its silky, downy feathers with a towel. Sheltered and warm, the duckling nuzzled its small head against Lily's hand and let out a soft, clear chirp that sounded like, "Mom, Mom!" That clear cry felt like a warm stream flowing deep into Lily's soul. She was stunned for a moment, then giggled. A strange, sweet, and sacred feeling welled up inside her. She knew that, from this moment on, she had a small, lovely responsibility to protect. Suddenly remembering her unfinished task, Lily rushed back outside to gather the clothes. With no place to hang them inside, the clever girl draped the clothes over her set of wooden chairs. then pulled her electric fan close, turning it to the highest setting to dry them. When her dad came home, he was surprised by his daughter's invention. Lily excitedly showed off the new family member and recounted the story of rescuing the little duckling. Her dad didn't just praise his daughter's responsibility. He was immensely proud of her kind heart. He pulled Lily into his arms for a tight, warm hug. Outside, the rain continued to fall. But inside the small house, a gentle fairy tale had been written with love, innocence, and compassion. The duckling had found a family, and Lily had learned her first lesson of unconditional love, a feeling even warmer than the sun itself. Under the golden, honey-like morning sun, the small garden was alive with the sounds of life. For Lily, the sweetest sound was the joyful bee-bee from the herd of goats whenever they saw her familiar figure in a conical hat. Especially Bebe, the little goat with dark, expressive eyes that Lily loved the most.
Ly giỏi nha. Cảm ơn Ly nha. Mà biết cái bó này nữa nha Ly nha. Đây con. Nè. Đây. Cầm cho ba nhá. Thấy chưa? Đi đi con. Cầm cho dê nhá.
Eat well, baby, she whispered, handing a clump of fresh green grass through the wooden fence. Bebe gently nuzzled Lily's small palm, its damp nose creating a cute, ticklish sensation. To Lily, Bebe was not just a goat, but a little friend with whom she could share secrets and shower with all her tender care. While Lily was busy with her little friend, in the distance, her dad's figure was still diligently working. His shirt was soaked with sweat, beads of it dotting his sun-darkened forehead, a testament to his love for his family.
Nốt bó này nhá. Thứ ba nốt cái này nhá. Đi vào đi.
Looking at her dad, a gentle idea popped into her head. Lily ran into the house, her feet moving swiftly. The small kitchen suddenly came to life with the presence of the tiny chef. Lily stood on her tiptoes to reach for the plump oranges in the refrigerator. With small but skillful hands, she carefully placed them on the juicer. She used all her strength, pressing down firmly, letting streams of fragrant, gleaming golden orange juice flow into the glass. Each drop of juice seemed to sparkle with the pure love she wanted to give her dad. After finishing, Lily carefully poured the orange juice from the glass into a bottle. The cool bottle of orange juice was ceremoniously delivered to her dad. Dad, I brought you some water. Her dad looked surprised. then smiled
Con
gently.
làm gì đây? Nước cho ba hả? Hả? Ly mang này cho ba hả? À, này sao đây? Mở ra uống à? Uống được không?
He took the bottle from his daughter's hand and took a large gulp.
Uống được không vậy Lý? Ừ? Uống được không vậy? Được hả? Nước gì lạ Lý?
The sweet, refreshing taste of the juice seemed to wash away all his fatigue.
Uống được
But
nhỉ?
sweeter than the
Uống được đấy.
juice was the thoughtful heart of his little
Uống được đấy.
girl.
Con muỗi nó cắn này. Uống được đấy. À, có thử miếng hả? Đây. À, nước ngon mà nhỉ? Đấy, thấy không? Ngon quá nhỉ? Ly giỏi lắm. Trời, bẩn hết rồi kìa.
Lily thoughtfully took a tissue from her bag and gave it to her dad to wipe his sweat.
Ủa, cho ba giấy hả? Cho ba giấy nữa hả?
In that moment, time seemed to stand still. Her dad said nothing, only quietly stroking his daughter's head, his eyes filled with boundless pride and love.
À, để bà lau cho Ly một cái nữa nha. Bật hết áo này ha. Cảm ơn Ly nhá. Còn một tờ này mình cất đi nhá. Lúc nào dơ dơ lấy ra lau ha. Đây, bà cất cho Ly nhá. Đây. Rồi, cảm ơn con nhé. Cái này bà uống tí nữa ha. Ha. Bà uống tí nữa nhé. Rồi, đi vô thôi con. Đi. Vô nhà đi. Đi. Đi nào.
After making sure her dad was re-energized, Lily happily ran back to Bebe. She brought a large armful of grass, feeding her little friend, while whispering the story of her magical orange juice. Bebe seemed to understand, nuzzling its head against her hand as if in thanks. The love Lily had for her little goat Bibi, the filial love she had for her great dad, and the infinite love the dad had for his precious daughter all blended together, creating the warmest and sweetest country melody. Under the warm afternoon sun, the small garden of the dad and daughter bustled with the sounds of their work. Dad was diligently tending to the new flower beds, his shirt soaked with sweat, but a gentle smile remained on his face. From the goat pen, little Lily came scampering out, her voice as clear as a bell. "Daddy, what are you doing?" Seeing his precious daughter, her dad replied softly, "I'm planting more flowers to make our garden even more beautiful, sweetie." His eyes shone with pride. "Would Lily like to help?" Lily cheered with delight. She was given the important task of going to the next garden patch to pick more of the brightest flowers. With her tiny hands, Lily carefully chose each bloom, cradling them as if they were precious gems. Soon, she returned with an armful of colorful flowers.
Cảm ơn Ly nhá. Đưa cho ba nào. Chỗ nhiều vậy.
Her face beaming with joy. Looking at his daughter, her dad's heart grew warm. Together, they tilled the soil and placed each small flower into the ground.
Đó, đi qua đây ngồi đi. Qua đây bà chỉ bà làm nhé. Nè, nhìn bà trồng hoa này ha. Đây bà lấy hoa đây nhá. Bỏ đây này. Đó, đúng rồi, cảm ơn Ly nhá. Lấy hoa cho ba đi. Đi lấy hoa đi. Đây, đây này. Đó, bỏ đây. À, đúng rồi, giỏi, cảm ơn Ly nhá. Đó, và lấy nữa đi, lấy hoa đi. Bỏ đây này. Đó, Ly giỏi quá, giúp ba giỏi ha. Rồi, lấy thêm đi con, lấy thêm hoa đi. Lấy hoa bên đây này. Đó, lấy một cành hoa lớn nhá. Bỏ đây. Đúng rồi, cảm ơn Ly nhá. Rồi, lấy nữa đi, lấy hoa đi. Lấy bên ngoài kia kìa. Bỏ đây con, mau bỏ đây. Đây này. Giỏi. À, Ly, con đi lấy cho bay ít nước nhá. Đây kia lấy cái xô lấy cho bay ít nước đi con. Đúng rồi, đi ra ngoài kia kìa. Đó.
Lily enthusiastically carried a bucket of water. Though it was heavy, she still managed to water each plant.
Ui. À, cảm ơn Ly nhé. Ui trời ơi. À, lấy nữa đi, lấy nữa đi. Ui. À, cảm ơn Ly nhé. Lấy nữa đi con. Rồi, cảm ơn Ly nhé. Rồi, nhiều nước quá Ly này, thấy không? Đó. Mai mốt hoa đẹp là nhờ có Ly nhá, thấy chưa? Bây giờ Ly lấy thêm cho ba thêm một xô nữa nhé. Cảm ơn Ly nhé. Để cho ba nhé. Bây giờ lấy cho ba thêm một xô nữa nhé. Ngoài kìa. Rồi. Ui trời ơi, ướt quần áo rồi này, thấy không? Để ba đổ tưới xong rồi bà thay đồ đi nhé. Rồi, xong rồi. Lỏng quá nhỉ, bằng bên kia kìa. Bằng bên kia đẹp chưa? Bốt hoa đẹp nhá. Thấy không? Cầm cho bà đi. Cầm qua bà đi, cầm đấy. Đi thôi, đi nào. Đi nào. Qua đây bà hái dưa cho Ly nhé. Qua đây hái dưa cho Ly này. Đây Ly ơi. Nè. Không. Nè.
When the work was done, her dad led Lily to the melon patch, where a large, ripe watermelon was waiting. This is a reward for my hard-working little gardener, he said, stroking Lily's head.
Thấy không? Đó. Đó được đó. Lấy quả đó đi. Lấy quả đó đi. Đấy. Nè. Này, cầm lấy. Cầm lấy ba cái này. À, bỏ đây hả? To quá, không vừa. Nè. Con cầm xô đi, cầm này đi. Cầm này đi. Đi nào đi. Đưa rồi đi. Được chưa ba? Con ngồi đây chờ tí nhé. Chờ ba tí nha. Nó lại ngồi đi, chờ ba tí.
Inside, while her dad was busy cutting the watermelon, Lily sat obediently watching cartoons.
Đi nhà ngoan nhé, ăn vậy trên bàn kìa. Tí nữa học xong rồi để ăn nhé. Tí nữa học xong rồi để ăn nhé, thấy chưa? Đi ở nhà ngoan nhé.
Her dad went back to the garden to finish his work, leaving Lily by herself. When the cool plate of melon was placed on the table, she didn't feel like eating it. Oh. A mischievous thought suddenly sparked in her mind. Lily ran to the refrigerator and swung the door open. The cold bottles of milk were calling to her. Without hesitation, she took them all out and drank them deliciously. After drinking, seeing the empty bottles lying scattered on the floor, Lily was suddenly struck with fear. What do I do? Dad will find out, she thought. In a moment of panic, she quickly gathered all the empty bottles and stuffed them back into the refrigerator, arranging them neatly, hoping her dad wouldn't notice. Dad! Hey!
Ui, Đi giỏi quá nha. Cả nhà ngoan này con. Sao ướt người mày? Sao người ướt vậy? Dính dính này này. Kia đấy.
When her
Vậy
dad
để uống
returned,
ha.
tired and
Nước á.
thirsty, he walked straight to the refrigerator. Lily's heart
Lily,
pounded.
để bà lấy
She
nước uống
rushed
chứ.
over, stretching out her
Bà lấy
arms
nước
to
uống.
try and block him. Daddy,
Lily,
don't
hả?
open it! But it was too late. The refrigerator door opened, and Lily's secret was exposed.
Ủa?
Seeing the
Sao
empty
thế này đi?
bottles, her dad's
Hả?
face showed a flicker of
Sao
surprise
này?
before turning stern.
Bây giờ Lily bỏ cái này vào thùng rác hay chưa? Bây giờ nhiệm vụ của Lily là bỏ thùng rác nhé.
But he didn't scold
Bà thương
Lily for
nha.
drinking all the milk.
Không sao đâu bà thương
He
chưa?
simply said gently,
Lily,
his
uống cái này
voice
bỏ thùng rác
tinged
nhé.
with a little
Đừng giấu tủ lạnh
sadness.
chưa?
Lily, why didn't you put the bottles in the
Bà
trash
thương Lily
can?
nhé.
We need to keep our house
Nhưng mà con bỏ
clean.
vào thùng rác nhé. Được không? Bây giờ nhiệm vụ của Lily là bỏ thùng rác nhé.
Hearing her dad's words, Lily knew she was wrong. She mumbled an apology, her eyes welling up with tears. Without needing to be told again, she quickly cleaned up her battlefield, carrying each empty bottle to the trash can.
Đây nữa. Rồi bỏ thùng rác đi con. Đây ba thương nè. Đây.
Seeing his daughter's remorse and her haste to fix her mistake, her dad's
Mau uống
anger
đấy.
melted away,
Rác chưa?
leaving only boundless love for his
Đi
little
giỏi
girl.
nhá. Đi ba mua thêm cho Ly nhá. Này mặt bẩn hết rồi, thấy không? Bây giờ đi ba đi rửa mặt cho Ly nhá. Nào. Đi, này.
The first rays of dawn had just broken, playfully creeping through the cracks in the door and dancing on the sleeping face of the little monkey, Lily. Waking up, Lily rubbed her eyes and looked over at her dear dad, who was still deep in slumber. She gently nudged him, shaking his hand to wake him. But it seemed her dad was too tired after a long day. Not discouraged, Lily gently slid off the bed and tiptoed into the living room. Through the glass of the main door, her eyes lit up when she saw her familiar skateboard leaning in a corner of the porch. A bold idea flashed through her mind. How about I go out and explore for a bit? Without hesitation, Lily skillfully opened the door, grabbed her skateboard, and began her own adventure. The skateboard, like a close friend, carried Lily professionally through the winding village roads.
Great job. Wow, you won.
The cool wind blew, making her fur flutter. Stopping for a short rest, Lily suddenly discovered a roadside tree laden with ripe fruit, giving off a sweet fragrance. Her empty stomach began to rumble. Lily quickly climbed the tree, picked the tastiest fruits, and enjoyed them heartily.
Ly ơi! Ly! Ly ơi! Đi đâu?
Meanwhile, back at home, her dad had woken up. Not seeing his little daughter anywhere, he worriedly searched the entire house. Guessing that his mischievous girl had gone out to play, he rushed out to find her.
Ly ơi! Ly! Đi đâu?
Oh.
After filling her hungry belly, Lily climbed down, intending to skate back home before her dad woke up.
Lily.
But an unfortunate incident occurred. As she was preparing, the skateboard slipped from under her feet and fell with a splash into the adjacent rice paddy.
Uh-oh.
Lily was horrified. She tried to reach for it, using all her strength to pull the board up, but it wouldn't budge. Back to Lily. She was almost in despair after struggling with the skateboard for a while. Her eyes welled up with tears.
Oh.
Just at that moment, a familiar figure appeared. It was her dad. Her dad had found her.
Đi đâu? Đi đâu ra đây? Cái gì đấy Lê? Cái gì đấy? Hả? Cái xe này đi hả?
Seeing his
Làm rơi
daughter
xe
in
hả?
trouble, he said nothing,
Trời ơi, xe
simply
rơi đây
bent
rồi.
down into the paddy and gently lifted the skateboard
Hai
onto
đứa
the
con hả?
bank.
Rồi, đây ngồi nào, đến đây. Đến đây. Làm rơi xe hả? Bẩn cái xe rồi ha. Rồi, bé bé nào. Con đi về nhé, được chưa? Nhé.
Then, he picked up both Lily and the skateboard, and they returned home together in the warm morning sun. Lily's little adventure had ended sweetly and safely in her dad's arms.
Đi chơi.
After her morning adventure, Lily lay listlessly on the bed, scrolling through her phone.
Huh? Oh, no.
Bored, she ran out to the living room to find her dad.
Mom.
But the scene before her made Lily's little heart clench. Her dad was tenderly feeding Sam the pig, the friend that Lily herself had brought home. The gentle look in his eyes, the caring gestures he showed Sam, made Lily feel like an outsider. The image of her loving dad, who had always given her his undivided attention, suddenly shattered. Feeling hurt, Lily quietly returned to her room. Her resentment welling up into tears that rolled down her cheeks. "Dad doesn't love me anymore," she sobbed. A little while later, her dad came into the room, having already prepared food, and left it on the table for Lily. "Lily, come and eat." But Lily, still sulking, replied, "I don't want to eat." Her dad just thought his little girl was being fussy, so he gently picked her up, placed her in her chair at the dining table, and casually left as if nothing was wrong. Sitting alone at the table, Lily saw Sam playing happily. Her emotions erupted. "This house isn't mine anymore." After a tormenting internal struggle, Lily made a difficult decision. She would leave, leaving this house to her dad and Sam. No sooner said than done. Lily quietly packed a few things into her small backpack, put on her familiar hat, and left the house. As soon as the door closed, Sam seemed to sense that something was wrong and rushed to find the dad to let him know.
Ủa, làm gì đây? Hả? Làm gì đây?
Sensing trouble, the dad quickly followed Sam to the living room.
Đi đâu đó?
He was horrified to see that both Lily's backpack and hat were gone.
Hả? Đi đâu? Đi xem đi. Lily! Lily!
Meanwhile, Lily was wandering alone on a familiar road, but today it felt strangely empty. She didn't know where to go.
Oh,
Stopping by the roadside, Lily picked some wild fruits to sustain her for the days ahead. Behind her, her dad and Sam had anxiously begun their search.
Chờ với, chờ với. Đâu, đâu, đâu. Thấy em đi chưa Hiển? Thấy chưa? Đi đi. Đi đi.
She found a cool spot under a tree, sat down, and tried to eat. But it was so hard to swallow. The memories of how her dad used to care for her kept replaying in her mind, and Lily couldn't help but burst into sobs. Perhaps because she had cried so much, she grew exhausted and fell asleep without realizing it. Lily! Lily! Her dad's loving voice called out, pulling Lily from her fitful sleep. Opening her eyes, she saw her dad and Sam standing before her, their eyes filled with worry.
Dad.
Without a second's hesitation, Lily ran to her dad, threw her arms around him, and burst into tears. Her dad hugged his little girl tightly, repeatedly apologizing for his thoughtlessness.
Hiển này. À, con lấy cái đầu cho heo hả? Con đi về nhá, được chưa? Đi về nhá. À, Yến, đi về Yến ơi. Đừng như thế nhé. Nghe chị Ly. Ha.
They returned home together. All misunderstandings were cleared up. From that day on, her dad paid attention to both Lily and Sam.
Đấy, hai người cùng ăn nhé, nghe chưa? Thấy chưa? Hai đứa cùng ăn nhé.
Lily also realized that her dad's love was still whole, and she gradually grew closer to her new friend, Sam.
Đi qua đây. Ôm đi, đúng rồi. Đúng rồi, giỏi. Ôi, giỏi quá nhỉ. Đi giỏi quá, đúng rồi. Ôm nhau nè, ôm nè. Ôm nè, ôm nè. Đúng rồi, giỏi.
The small house was once again filled with laughter and warmth.
Đau đấy, nhẹ. Đau đấy, ha. Xe mà đi, không ngủ à? Để phải ngủ đi nhé. Có đang ngủ nữa.
After a long day full of adventures, her dad gently carried Lily to her bedroom. Sleep well, sweetheart. I have to go out for a bit, he instructed before closing the door.
Để điện thoại đấy nha, không xem điện thoại đấy, nghe chưa? Nghe chưa?
Lily obediently curled up in her warm blanket, her eyes growing heavy as she drifted off to sleep. But the peace didn't last long. In the living room, the family's newest member, Sam the pig, was still struggling with hunger. Even though he had eaten, his big appetite left his stomach feeling empty. He pushed his empty aluminum food bowl, creating a loud clang-clang that echoed through the house. The noise shattered Lily's sleep. Annoyed, she sprang up, her little face scrunched in a frown. Who's being so loud? She thought, storming out to the living room, ready to give the troublemaker a piece of her mind. But when she saw poor Sam rubbing his nose against the empty bowl, his eyes full of expectation, Lily's anger vanished. She realized her friend was hungry. With a sigh, Lily said nothing and went straight to the kitchen. Acting like a big sister, she thoughtfully picked up the pieces of pumpkin and sweet potato her dad had already peeled. With her skillful hands, Lily put a small pot of water on to boil, added the vegetables, and began to cook a hearty meal for Sam.
Okay.
While waiting for the food to cook, she ran out to play with Sam to keep him from getting impatient. The two frolicked happily, Lily's clear laughter mixing with Sam's contented grunts, chasing away the quiet of the house. Soon, the sweet aroma of pumpkin and sweet potato filled the kitchen. Lily carefully took the pot off the stove, poured the food into a bowl to cool, and brought it out for Sam. Watching her friend eat so heartily made Lily happy too. She sat down beside him, and together they enjoyed the warm late-night meal she had prepared herself. Their friendship grew stronger from simple moments of sharing like this. After her full meal, Lily lay on the comfortable sofa, her clear eyes fixed on the door, waiting for her dad's familiar figure to return. Where has Dad been for so long? She wondered. Tired of waiting, Lily decided to do something useful to make the time pass faster. No sooner said than done, she jumped up, ran to the kitchen, and began the cleanup. With a cloth in hand, Lily looked like a capable homemaker, wiping everything from the floor to the kitchen counter until it shone.
Ready, set, and go.
Not only that, but she also carefully arranged the books on the study desk, wiping away every speck of dust. After making the house sparkle, Lily resumed her wait. But perhaps because she had eaten too much, her stomach suddenly began to protest. A sharp pain made her grimace. Unable to bear it any longer, she rushed to the bathroom.
Oh my gosh! Oh yeah!
Just then, her dad returned. Not seeing his little daughter in the living room, he went to look for her. "Lily, where are you?" His voice called from the doorway.
Ai nấu chợ? Lily! Lily ơi! Lily! Lily ơi! Đâu rồi? Lily ơi! Lily!
As he got closer to the bathroom, he heard a noise inside. Opening the door, he came upon the sight of his daughter taking care of business.
Oh my gosh!
Trời ơi!
Seeing her dad, Lily quickly finished her task and ran out.
Tới đây đi các bạn ạ. Đây ngồi con. Trời ơi.
Even though she had used the toilet, her stomach still ached.
Chào bà đi nhé.
Seeing the pained look on his daughter's face, her dad worriedly asked what was wrong. Learning the cause, he gently set Lily down, took out a bottle of medicated oil, and began to rub her belly.
Ngồi bụng nhé, khỏi đau chưa? Nằm xuống con. Nằm xuống. Đúng rồi. Nằm đây, nằm đây. Đúng rồi. Nằm đây.
His warm hands and the gentle scent of the oil made Lily's pain gradually disappear.
Ăn gì linh tinh đúng không? Đi nhặt gì ăn tung hả? Hay sao? Rồi, mặc quần cho Ly này. Đây này. Ok rồi đấy, giờ mình đi ăn nhé. Con nấu đồ cho Ly ăn nhé, nghe chưa? Ha. Con xem này, bây giờ ok rồi.
After helping Lily put her pants back on, her dad went to the kitchen to prepare another treat.
Qua đây nhé, qua đây nhé. Chào tí. Chờ xíu Ly ơi, xong rồi, nóng quá. Chờ xíu. Xong rồi đây. Ui giời ơi.
For his beloved daughter, a moment later, he brought out a plate of fragrant, hot steamed sweet potatoes. The enticing aroma immediately caught Lily's attention. She happily took the plate and enjoyed it with relish. The sweet, rich flavor of the potato spread through her mouth, chasing away all the pain, leaving only the warmth and boundless love of her dad. When the first rays of the new day gently crept through the window, her dad was already up early to start his work. The birds were chirping in the garden like a melody welcoming the new day. A little while later, the little monkey Lily ambled out of her bedroom. Still sleepy, she rubbed her eyes, opened the laptop, and chose her favorite cartoon. Colorful characters danced on the screen, and exciting adventures unfolded. But today, Lily just couldn't concentrate. Her empty stomach began to protest with loud rumbles. Not seeing her dad in the house, Lily quickly ran to the window and looked around. There's Dad! Dad! Hearing his beloved daughter, her dad immediately stopped his work, looked up, and smiled. He knew his little princess needed something. Without a moment's hesitation, he put his work aside and hurried back into the house with Lily. What does my girl want to eat? Her dad asked gently. Understanding his daughter, her dad laughed heartily. All right, today we'll make a lava sponge cake together. Hearing this, Lily jumped for joy. She rolled up her sleeves, looking like a professional baker, and quickly helped her dad get the flour and water to mix the batter.
Bột bánh đây nhé. Ly thích làm bánh nữa đúng không? Không đừng ăn thế nhé. Ăn ra bột đấy. Đây hả? Thích à? Đi vào xem. Lily, lấy nước đi Lily. Lily, lấy nước. Lấy nước kìa. Đúng rồi, lấy đi. Ngồi đây này, lấy nước này. Từ từ đã, này. Nữa, lấy nữa đi. Rồi, mang ra đây. Mang đây. Đây đi, mang đây. Đây nè. Rồi, vào. Ui trời ơi, giỏi quá. Cảm ơn nhé. Rồi, ok rồi. Này đảo lên, đảo lên. Rồi cái đảo đi, xúc đi, xúc đi.
Lily's small hands skillfully stirred the mixture.
Đây này. Đây nha. Rồi. Đó, mình đảo đều đấy nha. Chưa gì đã bụi hết đầy mặt rồi. Đấy. Chưa gì đã bụi hết đầy mặt rồi Ly. Hôm nay Ly làm bánh gì đây? Xem Ly làm bánh gì nha. Và chuẩn bị cho Ly một quả trứng nữa rồi đấy. Tí làm trứng nhá. Thế tí ha. Ngon không? Tay cầm đây này, tay cầm đây. Đó. Đúng rồi. Rồi, bây giờ mình đổ ra đây nhá. Này. Để lau cái này đi này. Cái bột rơi này, bột rơi này. Đi này, cho tay đây, cho tay đây. Tay nữa. Đúng rồi đấy. Con lau tay đi. Đúng ra đây nữa. Đúng rồi, này. Này. Lau đi. Lau cho dính tay vào nha, cho nó dính bánh vào đây nha. Đây, cái mượn tay nào. Tới đây nữa. Này, cho đi bình thường nhá. Đây đi. Đúng rồi. Nhấc lên này. Cái. Bắn đấy. Đúng rồi đấy. Này, nhấc lên này. Nhấc lên. Đúng rồi.
When it came to kneading and rolling the dough, she proved even more adept, which surprised her dad and made him chuckle.
Này, nhấc lên. Nhấc lên. Đạp xuống. Đúng rồi. Nhấc lên. Nhấc lên. Đạp xuống. Nhấc lên. Đúng rồi đấy, đi giỏi lắm. Nhấc lên. Này, nhấc lên đi, nhấc lên. Đúng rồi. Đúng rồi, giỏi lắm. Này, rồi này. Này, nhấc lên đi, nhấc lên. Đúng rồi. Đây này con. Đây. Nào, cái nữa này. Đúng rồi. Nữa này. Thôi. Này. Nữa này. Đây này. Đúng rồi. Đây. Nào, này. Nào, thế này. Cái cao lên. Đúng rồi, giỏi quá. Giỏi quá. Này, đi này. Rồi, xoa đi nhé. Xoa đi. Đây, còn đi đây. Này. Nè, tay đây. Đó, con làm đi, đẩy đi. Đó, đây này. Đây này, đẩy đi. Đúng rồi. Đẩy đi con, đẩy đi. Đưa cho bạn nhé. Này, đẩy này. Được chưa, thấy không? Này, con đẩy đi. Đó, đúng rồi. Này, cái này. Cái này. Đấy. Được. Đúng rồi. Rồi, cái này đi, đẩy đi. Được chưa, thấy không? Này, cái này đi. Đó, đúng rồi. Này, lấy hộp nha. Đây. Cắt này đi nha. Cắt này cho bạn này. Ui, bột mịn thế. Rồi này. Bột hơi mịn luôn liền. Được đấy. Giờ mình chia phần ra, mình bỏ vào trong cái khay nhé Linh nhé. Này Linh này, đây là này. Con nhào đi. Đấy. Cầm đấy. Đúng rồi đấy, cầm đi. Nè. Hay quá. Đây, bỏ đây. Ôi rơi kìa, lấy nó ra. Bỏ đây này. Rơi rồi. Cái trứng này tí nữa làm nhân cái gì nhé. Rồi để làm đây nhé, bắt đầu trứng nhé. Nè trứng này. Rồi. Đây để bánh cắt trứng này. Bỏ trứng vào đây nha.
To make the cake extra special, her dad had prepared a little secret. He skillfully added a molten salted egg yolk, filling into the center of the soft dough.
Giờ đây này. Đó. Cho lòng đóng gà lên này. Thấy không? Nè. Từ từ. Đó. Rồi. Hai đi bỏ vào đây này, bỏ vào đây, bỏ vào đây, đúng rồi, đây nữa, bỏ đây, đúng rồi, bỏ đây, đâu, đây mà, đây, đây cái bỏ này, đó, đây, bỏ đây, bỏ đây, bỏ đó, đúng rồi, đóng lại này.
Then, the cake was carefully placed in the oven.
Rồi, ok rồi. Ở đây dọn này, đây bắt đầu dọn này nhé. Đây là lau đi.
Before long, a sweet, rich aroma began to fill the whole house, awakening all the senses. The cake was ready.
Đây, để vào tí nhé. Đây. Đây, từ từ đã.
Her dad carefully took the golden brown cake out of the oven, let it cool for a bit, and then cut it into small, bite-sized pieces.
Cắt đi nhé. Bỏ trong kia coi. Đúng rồi đấy.
He placed the fragrant plate of cake on the table.
Đây nữa. Đây nữa. Đây nữa. Đây một đi. Một cái nữa nha. Bỏ đi ra. Đây nữa. Đây. Bỏ nữa. Đây nữa. Đây. Rồi đi nào. Đi ra ghế ngồi. Đây, đi đây. Ngon quá hả?
Lily couldn't wait any longer. She picked up a piece and took a big bite. The soft, fluffy cake, with its sweet and savory molten lava filling, melted right in her mouth. Lily closed her eyes in bliss, her face showing pure contentment. Today's breakfast was truly the best. One beautiful morning, the little monkey, Lily, woke up to the sound of her stomach rumbling. She ran straight to the refrigerator, hoping to find something delicious. But alas, it was completely empty except for a single lonely spoon. Undeterred, Lily scurried over to her beloved piggy bank, turning it upside down with all her might. But only silence answered. The pig was empty. A flicker of sadness crossed Lily's big, round eyes. But it was quickly replaced by a strong sense of determination. Faced with a food crisis, a grand idea sparked in the clever little monkey's mind. Instead of waiting, Lily decided to solve the problem herself. She quickly grabbed a board and, with a blue marker, neatly wrote the professional-looking words, "Sale 40%.
Okay.
With the advertising sign in hand, Lily confidently placed it right in front of her house, ready for the first business venture of her life. To get her product, Lily ran to the small garden behind her house. Under the morning sun, clusters of ripe, round red tomatoes, like tiny lanterns, were calling to her. Lily carefully and gently picked each one, feeling their freshness in her palm. She arranged them in a basket, her heart filled with joy as she imagined how much food she could trade for these tomatoes. Her mobile stall was ready. Lily brought the basket of tomatoes to the market, placed the discount sign in the most eye-catching spot, and waited for customers.
Hi. Hi.
Before long, a kind little girl was drawn to this special stall.
Okay.
Seeing how adorable and serious Lily was, the girl didn't hesitate to ask to buy some.
Chào bạn, bạn món cái gì? Bạn món cái gì đó?
Lily, in her role as a professional salesperson, carefully picked each tomato and put it in a bag for her customer.
Cà chua ngon quá. Bán cho tôi nhé. Ok. Cái này bao nhiêu? Ok. Thank you.
The moment she received the money from her hard work, Lily's eyes shone with immense joy and pride.
Bye-bye.
After the customer left, she happily counted the money she had just earned. With her earnings in hand, Lily decided to treat herself. She went to a nearby stall and bought a packet of her favorite cookies.
Chào bạn nha. Chào bạn nha. Bạn mua gì? Mua bánh hả? Lấy tiền đây. Lấy tiền đây. Rồi. Đây hả? Lựa đi. Đây.
As she pushed her small cart home, Lily had no intention of keeping the reward for herself. Seeing her friend, the little pig, she didn't hesitate to share the remaining tomatoes in her basket. It was the act of a kind heart, always thinking of others.
Ly.
Arriving home, Lily brought the cookies she had bought to her dad.
Ly. Đâu cho ba cái nào. Cái ghế ngồi đi con. Đi đâu về đây? Sao có bánh ở đây hả? Ba có mua sữa cho Ly kìa. Mua sữa bánh cho Ly được kìa.
Not only did her dad smile with pride at his daughter's independence, but he also had a much bigger surprise for her. He brought out a giant
Bây giờ
box.
Lily sẽ dùng cái xe này để đi chơi, đi học hoặc đi lúc đi chơi lúc rảnh rỗi nhé mọi người ơi. Đây là Lily. Bây giờ mình cùng mở cái hộp quà này nhé. Lily giúp bố lấy cái kéo đi. Đây này Lily, đây Lily. Lily, đây. Đấy hả? Để ba mở cho Lily xem nhé. Đây. Nào, khui nào Lily. Đi khui đi. Đi mở đi. Đúng rồi.
When the box was opened, Lily had to scream with delight. Inside was a sparkling pink toy car, her dream gift. Unable to wait any longer, the two of them started to assemble it. Lily proved to be very skillful and enthusiastic. She single-handedly attached each wheel and helped her dad install the windshield and headlights. Hey! Finally, when the car was complete, Lily proudly sat in the driver's seat, ready for new adventures. The pink car quickly became Lily's indispensable companion. She drove it all over the yard, carrying her things and always remembering to wear her cute little helmet. Oh! During one of her rides, the car's wheel unfortunately got stuck. But for an independent monkey like Lily, that wasn't a big problem. She calmly went into the house.
Uh-oh.
Found a screwdriver in the toolbox and came back, concentrating on fixing the wheel with expertise. After the car was working again, Lily even carefully used a brush to sweep away the leaves that had fallen inside. She took care of her gift with great care and responsibility.
La la la.
Đi đâu Ly? Hả? Đi đâu không? Đi Ly, đi đâu vậy? Đi mua đồ hả? Tao mua bánh cho Ly nè. Mua củ nè, bánh củ này, thấy chưa?
Wow.
Đúng rồi, mua cái con thích nè. Con đi về ăn bánh nhá, thấy chưa này? Tao bỏ giờ đây tí nhá.
Hỏi đi nhé, đi về ha. Này, bạn có một củ nữa này, thấy chưa? Thôi đi về ha.
The evening was passing peacefully when the ringing of the telephone shattered the silence. On the other end of the line was her dad's boss. Lily saw her dad cheerfully answer the phone, but then the smile on his lips slowly faded, replaced by a stunned, tense expression.
Muốn sếp ơi, sếp thông cảm cho em nhé. Dạ, em cũng không muốn như thế đâu.
The cold words from the phone were like needles piercing the silence of the room. I'm sorry. The company has to make cutbacks. You're fired.
Dạ, dạ.
The call ended. Dad put the phone down helplessly. The news was like a bucket of cold water, suddenly making the usually strong man weak. His shoulders drooped heavily, not just from fatigue, but from the weight of the future. He sank into a chair, buried his face in his hands, his mind filled with 1,000 unanswered questions. What will I do next? How will I provide for Lily?
Because of me, Dad lost his job. So no more milk, no more fruit.
Lily, who was playing nearby, immediately sensed the change.
Này tôi
The solid wall named Dad seemed to be crumbling. She didn't understand words like fired or boss, but she understood the pain in her dad's sigh. For the first time, she saw her dad as truly fragile.
Lily.
Without a moment's hesitation, Lily knew she had to be her dad's hero right
Is it my
then.
fault?
She ran and put on her little chef's coat. It was Lily's way of saying, "Don't worry, Dad. I can work. I can
I
take
don't
care of
need
you."
milk. I don't need fruit anymore. Don't be sad, Dad.
She gently approached him and patted his bowed head with her tiny hands. Seeing her dad still lost in silence, Lily began to show off her back-thumping skills. Each tiny, clumsy punch was filled with a fierce determination, as if wanting to beat away the worries that surrounded her dad.
Ba không sao đi nhé. Đậu nhé. Đi giỏi quá ha. Ba không sao ha. Đi ngoan ha. Đi làm gì đây? Hả? Bà có việc tí nha. Đúng con, đi ra kia nằm đi con. Đấy. Đi nằm ngoan đấy nha.
Dad doesn't seem well. I can't leave him alone.
Then Lily ran to get her favorite pink blanket. She struggled a bit with the blanket that was bigger than her, but she finally managed to carefully drape it over her dad. She wanted the warmth of the blanket to protect and shelter him from the cold wind of the news outside.
Gì Ly? Gì đấy? Cầm khăn đưa ba hả? Sao nhé? Hả? Chị Ly.
She gently arranged the blanket, stroked his head once more, and then softly planted a loud kiss on his cheek.
Ta làm
That
xong việc
pure
rồi
and
ha.
sincere kiss seemed to awaken her dad from his negative thoughts. Dad slowly raised his head. His eyes still held sadness, but now shone with emotion.
Thôi. Rồi, đi chơi chơi nhé. Đi chơi nhé, ông mời cái mềm tí nhé, bạn làm nhé. Đi chơi nhé. Đi đâu? Đi chơi đâu?
Seeing this, Lily ran to get a carton of milk. In her simple world, a sweet drink could soothe any sorrow. She patiently brought the milk carton over, inserted the straw herself, and handed it to her dad.
Gì Ly? Gì đây? Sao? Sữa cho ba hả? Hả? Ly mua sữa cho ba hả? Cảm ơn Ly nhé. Ba không sao nhé. Ly lấy sữa uống đi ha. Được không?
Looking at his little daughter's actions, Dad suddenly realized that although he had lost his job, he still had the most precious asset, which was Lily. Her unconditional love was the greatest strength. Dad smiled, a real smile. He didn't drink alone, but shared the milk carton with Lily as a silent promise. As long as I have you by my side, I can overcome anything.
Đây. Con uống đi. Đúng rồi. Giỏi lắm. Từ từ thôi ha. Thế là bỏ rác cho đi nhé. Mang con gì rồi? Bỏ rác đi con. Xong rồi hả con? Thôi đi ngủ nhé, được không? Đi ngủ nhé ha. Mang nhé. Đây con nằm đây. Đúng rồi, đây chỗ con nhé.
That night, after being cared for by his daughter, Dad hugged Lily tightly and gently placed her in bed. In each other's arms, the dad and daughter found peace, proving that a family's love is always the strongest support against all of life's storms.